anybody can tell you, and she's going to tell you the truth, if truth matters, is Anna Fusco.
So you want to really know what's going on in the Broward County public school system. If you're not paying attention to the news, you're not watching Scott Travis's X, you're not watching the other group that sometimes likes to put out a little bit of truth, Concerned Citizens, I will be more than happy to share with you in a minute and a half, but that's all you need. It's still a shit show happening. You have a group of people that sit on a dais that were elected by us that still don't know what they're doing. Let me make it clear. I like every one of them. Well, I lie. I don't like 3. I like 6 out of the 9. They are good people, but they struggle on knowing what to do. Just yesterday, they allowed a non-union group with 0 bargaining rights. I want you 2 candidates to hear it, because you 2 are going to promise me everything and probably do nothing. Because that's what happens with the board members that are there. So 2, they negotiated at the dais. They broke all kinds of labor rules. They screamed and yelled they wanted to take back a raise from the teachers because there's no money, but then directed the superintendent, go find $24 million to give the highest paid group of people, which are the principals, and the APs, a raise. When they have 9 bargaining groups, 6 from FOPE, 2 from Broward Teachers Union, and 1 from the PBA. That's 9. We're sitting in negotiations right now, doing it the right way. We ask for meetings, we beg for meetings, we show up to meetings, and they say they have nothing. But then said, go find $24 million, when the superintendent said, nope, don't have it, can't do, we won't have it, it's not going to happen. That was poor board, school board member presence yesterday. It was horrible. I bet they weren't showing today. Yeah, I'm sure they're sick. They knew I was coming, but that's okay. So, that's the group that holds our schools together. Our principals run our school. It's top down. But they're not the only ones held accountable. If your bus drivers don't show up and get the kids there, if your food service people don't serve the food, if your clerical doesn't show up, if your custodians don't open the doors, if they don't clean, and if your teachers and your support staff don't show up, then it's not about the student. Because I can tell you who can run a school with no principal, everybody I just mentioned. I can tell you who can't run a school if nobody shows up, and that's the principal and the APs. And that's a fact. That's a fact. I've been in the classroom for 30-something years. Been through it a lot. Been through a lot of board members, been through many superintendents. Knew them all. They knew me as Anna Fusco, the teacher, and then they got to know me as Anna Fusco, the president. But when I get in front of ignorant adults that claim to be smart, but then they're dumb, I will tell you. Right, Patty? Patty sat across from me. I do not hesitate. I can be your friend, but the expectation is grand. You run in a position that you say you have people's livelihoods at stake, I take it seriously. Because every single day I cry. That's the realization that happens in every school. Not all day, every student. But if it happens to one, it matters to me. And it should matter to the 9 people sitting up on that dais. And I believe it does to 6, but sometimes they don't get it. And I'm going to talk about the ignorant moron that talks about we have porn books in our schools. And not one board member will sit there and tell her to stop. So I do. When I get to the mic, I'm told I can't say her name. That's the most absurd thing I ever heard. But then they wanted to take out the disparaging remarks against Licata for a year. You should expect to be ridiculed. But we can't get up and say your name when we call you out. It's absurd. So, money's tight in Broward County Public Schools. We haven't figured out why Judy Marte's still there and still in charge of the budget, but the budget sucks. I don't get it. I can tell you right now, in Broward Teachers Union, we have an $11 million budget. Nowhere near like Broward Schools. But if my CPA and my finance department couldn't tell me about my budget and I'm underwater, believe it. I believe line items are hidden. I believe money is hidden. And they're making excuses. And we need strong board members that are working for the good of our schools. We have 3 up there that say take your voucher money and move on to charter, move on to private, move on to parochial. That is absurd. Could you imagine Walmart board sitting on Walmart saying, go spend your money at Target? I mean, there would be a problem. That's what's really happening. They were tasked to tell the superintendent, to tell every school principal to cut 4 employees from every school. Tomorrow, our school district will have hundreds and hundreds of people losing their jobs. That is a fact. From custodians, to paras, to clerical, to teachers. And I've got Alan Zeman that's telling me, oh, Anna, you don't know what you're talking about. No, they're not cutting teacher people. They're just not going to hire more. I go, wake up. Because the slips are real and they're coming. We need board members that get elected that say, I'm going to do it and I care. And you're not going to waver. It's hard. Because you get pressure. You get pressure from me, you get pressure from everybody, every type of group, the public, the same ones over and over again, your colleagues, and it's hard. It's a hard job. And you can't be afraid, and you can't be scared, and you can't be weak. But the first and foremost you need to have is just, you have to truly care. Once you care, it'll all blend. That's the part that matters.